How much credence do you give to people just saying, you know what, he didn't interview well, so that's why he dropped?
Well, I do think that's important, but something I sort of when I heard that, I tried to really interrogate that, and I wondered. Right, this is all presumption. I will qualify it with that. But I do think, especially, I started to think about this even more intensely after Cam Ward was picked first. Because Cam's immediate reaction, the way he carries himself, is like immense gratitude. He's exuding humility. He's so appreciative for the opportunity to even play in the NFL. And I was saying to everyone who listened to me, I was like, it's going to be hard for Shedeur to feel that way when he grew up having, like, I don't know, Jerry Rice and Emmett Smith over his house having cookouts. You know what I mean? Like, this is not something new to him. And I say it in this way: as an educator, when I worked at a boarding school and my sons were super little, they would walk around the boarding school with me. And part of what would go through my mind was, by the time they go to high school or college, they're not going to be intimidated by any of this. I work at a seminary now, graduate school, and the boys come here and they see the seminary president, they see professors, and they're just like, hi, and they play catch on the lawn of the seminary. So by the time, if any of them go to grad school, they're not going to be like, oh, I've never been in a place like this before. So I think that translates. How
Mm-hmm.
would Shador have the same sort of posture as Cam when that's not how he grew up? He grew up with economic privilege. He grew up with resources. His dad is one of the most famous athletes of my lifetime and was heavily involved in his life and took him with all these things. Why would he carry himself, to use the old phrase, with his hat in his hand and act as if he's just so appreciative of this? To the converse, I think he probably acted like, yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be. And so I can see how that sort of posture would not translate to interviewing well for people who are expecting him to have a much more humble approach.